Quebec, Canada, fighting Troy the Destroyer Dorsey, 12 rounds for the World Super Lightweight Championship.
What are you going to do now as far as kickboxing?
First, I want to thank God. Say hello to my wife, Shelly and Kendra. Happy birthday, Shane. And thank all of my instructors and students at my school. Now, pick up kickboxing and boxing both again and go out there a world title.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you. All right.
The winner and still Hurricane World Super Lightweight Champion of the World, Troy the Destroyer Dorsey!
Yeah, every once in a while you can reward yourself, but I'm not sure about weekly, maybe bi-weekly, but it depends on what you're trying to do and what you're trying to lose. And what you're doing to lose weight. If you're not exercising, it's going to make it more difficult. So I recommend exercising, and that means just walking in your neighborhood. Walking, you're gonna look goofy, but you're walking like this. Bring your knees up, high as you can bring your knees up. Just walking. Walking is really good for you. Riding a bicycle. I don't like the bicycle on the road because chance you get hit and just all kinds of different things. You wreck, or hit the gravel, and so I recommend a stationary bicycle. I did a lot of that when I was sparring, when I was fighting, because I got sick pretty easily back then. So instead of going outside and running in the cold weather and the rainy weather, whatever, then I would ride the bicycle, stationary bicycle, and put on a t-shirt, put on a sweatshirt, put on my toboggan, put on sweatpants, and put on plastic pants over them, and my plastic top over that. You sweat. I'm not sure how good that is for you, but to wearing those plastics, but it really does heat your body up. Burns lots of calories. So we sweat to cool the body down. Trying to cool the body down. That water is crazy. It really is neat how God did that. And so you get rid of a bunch of junk. Mm-hmm. So you ever heard of a detox?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of information on detox, about how good that is for you. Once a week, not eating. One thing, not eating. Now, hopefully I don't want anyone to get hurt. See your doctor before you don't eat for a day. But
now the detoxing that I was introduced to is for one day you like juice. You know, you get a lot of vegetables and fruit, put it in a blender, and you just juice for that day. And then if you have access to a sauna, you go hit the sauna that same day, and maybe the next day, and you just sweat it all out. So it's really good for those who like to drink a lot too.
Alcohol?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't really know. I never heard of a good story. Oh man, my mother drank a 6-pack of beer, and she became a better mother. My dad, he drank doesn't matter, 6-pack, 12-pack, whatever, and he became a better dad, and was working harder, and it just goes the other way around. Absolutely. They start missing work, and they not a good parent, and it's just, nothing good comes from alcohol. I've never heard of anybody saying, yeah, I started drinking a 6-pack once a week or twice a week. It doesn't matter what. I never heard a good story come from someone drinking alcohol. Not one good story. Now, when they quit,
that's when the good story starts.
That's when the good story starts. Yeah, there's so many people that are dying of liver problems. A friend of mine right now he's not dying, but he's having liver problems, and in part it's because of the alcohol. So the people talk about, Jesus, he drank wine, but at that time, the way I understand it, it wasn't alcohol wine. So he said, be not drunk. I can't remember the exact quote in the Bible, but he said, be drunk in the Spirit. So I'm going to take on the Holy Spirit and let Him guide our life. We don't want alcohol to guide our life. And it will if you let it. And so many people, they didn't mean to let it, but it just turned that way. It just turned into that it was a problem. So their wife left them. Or their kids got taken away because they're drunk. Or got a DWI. They hit somebody and killed somebody. Nothing good comes from it.
You are correct on that, sir.
So my what I did to reach those goals is I set a goal, and just like anybody else, you set your goal, and then you just got to stay keep your eyes fixed on the goal. If you want to lose weight, you got to sacrifice. You want to win a world title in cheerleading or boxing or kickboxing or golf, you got to sacrifice. You got to sacrifice time with your family. You got to sacrifice doing things you don't necessarily like. The way you eat, what you drink. And now all I drink is water. That's all I drink. I don't drink anything else. Now, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure I might drink a sip of something, but I just don't. Water is so important to drink. So if you want to be a champion, or you want to be a governor or a president, then set your goal and start doing what you have to do to reach those goals. So anybody can do anything they set their mind to, I believe. So we all are given certain gifts by the Lord, but we set our mind to something, we can get it done. So don't let the enemy lie to you and tell you can't do it. I like to think as can't is a bad four-letter word. Tell yourself you can. Whether it's pursuing something in your job, something in your marriage, anything in your marriage, anything in your life, you got to set a goal. And I've heard of people putting a piece of paper on the mirror in the room. So the first thing you do when you get up, you see that and you remember that's your goal. So I've heard it said before that if you write your goal down, you'll have so much more of a chance of reaching that goal if you write it down. So I know there's proof about that, so I would say write it down. Put it somewhere where you'll see it. You can imagine if you wrote your goal down and you put it underneath your bed, you never saw it. But if you put it on something in your room, whether it be lose 5 pounds or be a better person or memorize scripture or whatever it is, put your goal where you'll see it regularly, and you'll be reminded, oh yeah, I got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. You're not living bound by anything. It's something good. Your goal has got to be something good. I don't know really of any. There are some bad goals, but why would people set a bad goal? I hope I smoke at least 1 pack of cigarettes today. Well, the goal would cut back, and then eventually get rid of it. So write your goal down, put it somewhere you'll see it regularly, and stick to it. And you're gonna have setbacks, you're gonna have difficulty. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Eating right, if it was easy, everybody would do it, but it's not easy. So I want to encourage you to do your best to take care of your body. It's the temple of the Holy Spirit. And when we put beer in our body, alcohol, or cigarettes, I think there's 287 poisons in a cigarette. Drugs, of course, is going to do worse than, well, I guess your drug could be candy, cake, and cookies, or one of those. But that's going to be harmful for you. And I'm not sitting here saying that I never overeat, because so many people, what, you overeat? Sometimes my wife and I go to a restaurant or with my kids, and I'll eat a lot. and a lot of junk. Sometimes I eat a lot of junk, but I try to maintain regularly so that maintain a good diet. Cookies is not a good diet.
My name is Troy Dorsey. We offer martial arts and karate training and fitness kickboxing training. Our karate program is for men, women, and children of all ages. From 4.5, we even have a student that's 91 years old. Also, we teach fitness kickboxing. It's a 1-hour non-contact class of punching and kicking a bag, because hitting a bag is like weightlifting to help strengthen and tone your muscles. Give us a call at 817-477-5523. Come in and see us today and start your martial arts experience with us now.
Welcome back, Destroyers, to If the Gloves Could Talk with Mr. Troy Dorsey. My name is Kayla Ayers, and I am a producer here at 063 Studios. Usually, I'm the one behind the camera, making sure things are running smoothly behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, that's tough behind the scenes. That's the tough work right there.
It is, yeah. A lot of people don't know what goes on behind the scenes of most anything, right? Until they learn or are told.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm very excited and honored to be here. Troy, you really are one of my personal heroes. I've loved getting to know you over this past year and learn from you. And so I'm very excited to get to be here with you. So really kind of want to talk about what it's like behind the scenes, what it takes to be a world champion and run a business for, how many years did you say?
43 years.
43 years.
In October. I opened my school in Dallas, East Dallas on Garland Road. It was a school since 1962, which it just kind of weird how that was. That's when I was born, 1962.
Oh, wow.
So Alan Steen owned the school, and he sold that school to myself and my partner Jim Choate in 1981, October 81. So we're creeping up on 43 years of being in business. And then I opened the school here, this building, in 1999.
Right.
Because my wife said, Troy, you driving to Dallas. I lived in Mansfield. Driving to Dallas 42 miles.
That's a long trek, especially in DFW traffic, right?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't that good either, really. It was on 20 to 408 to Loop 12 to Garland Road.
Ooh, I had my first major accident on 408.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like it.
That's kind of
right there,
it
was, yeah.
On the little hill. It's not
Yeah.
a mountain, I guess, but yeah. Yeah, so then I opened my school here in 1999, and we've been thriving since then.
Thriving. Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's a great word.
Yeah, man.
Well, so I want to ask you a couple of questions because, you've been in business for so long. You actually started your first karate school while you were still fighting, right? What is he doing here?
The seat keeps just going down. I guess I've gained so much weight that it's just when okay, it's gonna hold. Okay, I'm short enough of that being shorter.
I know, me too. I have a short person syndrome as well.
Yeah.
So you were training, you were a champion, you were constantly training, and you opened up a karate school at the same time, right?
In 1981? Mm-hmm. Yes.
So kind of walk me through, what was that like? How did you, first of all, I'm thinking, how did you find the time to do both?
Well, I started my first kickboxing match was in 1979. I worked for Jim Choate at his karate school in Duncanville, and then he, as my partner, we started the school in October '81. So there's lots of planning to plan your class before you teach the class, but there's also lots to plan. You can't just plan your fight. You have to do work.
Right.
You have to train. So I would normally train sometimes 8 weeks, sometimes most of the time 6 weeks, 6 days a week. And in the morning, get up, I'd go run. I would never get up. I never got up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh.
Like the old traditional runner.
I like the sound of that.
But
So what time did you wake up?
I would get up at 9 or 10 o'clock.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
And because I worked usually until 9 or 10 o'clock at night at the school. So I worked the second shift, almost the third shift. I didn't work the whole third shift. I guess you'd say third shift would be through the night, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm using that third shift for. I was at work the first shift. I get to my school at 12 o'clock, teach a class 12:30 to 1:30, 1:15. Then the classes would start at 4, and then you go till 8, 9 o'clock at night. Or 9, 10 o'clock at night, actually, before I would leave. Then drive back on to Mansfield.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's, but fighting, getting ready for a fight, you can't just you've got to work your agility, you've got to work your strength, you've got to work probably the most important thing, all that's going to be working together, but conditioning.
Conditioning.
You have to work, you have to train. You can't just not train and get in the ring and have the win to go 3 rounds, much less like world title fights, 12 rounds.
Right.
And so there's a lot behind the scenes. So I would do my running in the morning, and then I would rest, and then I would go teach class, and then at the end of the class I'd start working. After class was over, I'd train. But usually 6 weeks before, then my wife would take over the school.
Oh.
So she would help me do that, and I had Ray Gomez and Larry Latimer, and I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out to help me teach class.
So you didn't do it alone?
No, I didn't do it alone. You can't really do it alone. You can't be a world champion alone. So if someone says I did it, well, you did it, and your trainer, and your cut man, and your manager. It takes a team. There's a team in boxing. So I had a manager, had a trainer, had a cut man. He had a full-time job. So my manager was David Gorman, and he had world champions Donald Curry, Don King Cobra.
I think I remember you talking about
Not King Cobra, it was Don Cobra Curry. And then Gene Mad Dog Hatcher.
I remember Mad Dog.
And then Lil Stevie Cruz, Lil Stevie Cruz. And then Troy, the Destroyer Dorsey. So Loretta Gorman, my manager's wife, she came up with those titles.
I like that.
Not the titles, the nicknames.
The nicknames, the ring names.
Yeah. So, okay, so back to the training. Get up and run. And I wouldn't normally run 6 miles like a lot of times we did with Steve Cruz and Gene Hatcher. Usually I'd run 3 miles, and then on one time a week I might run 6 or 8 miles. 8 miles. I'm trying to think. It's been a while since I fought. So that's what it was. And then get good rest and stay out of the sun in the summer, especially this hot Texas summer.
Yeah.
And then we'd go to the gym, and in the gym there's no air conditioner. And it was probably, I don't know.
Ooh, brutal.
90 degrees, maybe 100 degrees inside there. It probably was 100 degrees. It's probably not safe. They probably wouldn't allow gyms to do that now.
Yeah, there's rules and regulations in place now.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about that, but I'm not complaining about it. I loved training in the summer. I love training in the summer in the heat, and so I would normally start off. The boxing rounds are 3 rounds, so we would train for 4 minutes. 3 minutes. The boxing 3 minutes, the kickboxing 2 minutes. So when I would train for a kickboxing match, I'd train 1 extra minute per round. So I would do 3 rounds a minute. 3 rounds. I'm sorry, I keep mixing it up. 3 minutes for 1 round in kickboxing. But then the real deal, so the week or two before the fight, I would start sparring 2 2-minute rounds. I keep saying that, 2-minute rounds instead of 3-minute rounds. And I would do what I would do for the fight. Like at the kickboxing match was a 12-round fight, world title fight. Then it would be we would train 9. Getting mixed up on the minutes here. It's 3 minutes times 9. Yeah, it's 36. 3 times. I'm all mixed up here now.
That's okay.
Okay, let's just stop for a minute. Okay, so it's 24 minutes for a kickboxing match. That means I would fight 8 3-minute rounds.
Okay.
And then that adds up to 24 minutes, correct?
That's right.
And then when you get about a week from the fight, then you start doing 2-minute rounds. So I do 12 2-minute rounds. So we do the sparring first, and after the sparring, we would do, I would do focus pad work. So the boxing coach holding the pads, jab, cross, hook, uppercut, making it all up like that. And then he would also work my defense, boom, punch. So when I would feel his hand, I would punch.
Gotcha.
Hit the elbow, uppercuts. Hit the elbow, uppercuts. Hit the front hand, hook or jab. Hit the back hand, throw a straight cross.
All right.
So we do those focus matches. That's the next best thing to fighting. So we do several of those rounds, and then we would do. I'm not gonna try to figure out the math again, but then we would do. I know I'd work my way up to just like it was the title fight. That many of rounds and that many rounds and that many minutes. Is that confusing?
No,
No.
I'm following.
Okay. So work up to that, and then after that, I jump rope, starting off for 30 minutes, and every 5 minutes, my trainer would hit me in the body with his boxing gloves, 80-ounce boxing gloves. My trainer was 220 pounds. His name was Casey Malone. Casey passed away of cancer maybe, in the late 90s, 1999, I think.
Okay.
Somewhere around there, maybe 2001. And then his wife passed away just 3 or 4 years later.
Oh wow.
So Linda and Casey Malone, they were great addition to my family, and Casey was my trainer. It was amazing. He was really a great trainer.
So there was obviously loads of preparation when it came to training for being in the ring. That it sounds like you lived by a schedule.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So how important is maintaining a schedule, sticking to it, in order to balance, training to be a champion and making sure that you have a successful business at the same time?
Well, for sure, it required a lot of hours and extra hours. But then getting closer to the fight, like 3 or 4 weeks before the fight, then my wife, maybe 6 weeks sometime before my fight, I would be gone, and she would take care of the school for me, my wife, Leslie. So
you had a pretty large team for training for kickboxing. What was your team like for your karate studio?
I had some instructors teach for me, Larry Latimer, Mark Sturkey, my wife taught some, and Virgil Sioko, and Shane Ropp, and there were several people that gave me a lot of help. And I know there are some names or some people that I have forgotten. Or this is just not coming to my mind right now, and I'm so sorry if I didn't mention you and you helped out. I apologize for that, but I just can't remember right now.
That's okay.
It's been so many years ago.
It sounds like it takes a village to be great.
Yeah, to raise a kid. You know what I mean? It's just like that's what it says. It takes a village to raise a child, right? So yeah, it's it wasn't just me doing it.
Yeah.
It wasn't just me doing it. I had lots of help.
So I feel like it takes, for being disciplined and sticking to that schedule, it takes a lot of mental fortitude and toughness. Can you kind of talk about how did you keep your mind right? How did you keep that fortitude and that focus and be able to successfully transition from the destroyer to the teacher?
Yeah, well, it just came. It was just a whole different setting. It's like right now, I won't start doing kicking and punching right now.
Right.
Yeah. So
let's hope not.
It was a complete different situation. When you're at home, you do X, and when you're in the gym sparring, you do this, and then when you're working the mat, you do this, and when you're doing the jumping rope, you do this. So it takes a lot. I'm not trying to take a lot of credit for it, but yeah, it takes a lot of credit. But I had a lot of people that helped me out. Some of the names that I had mentioned a while ago.
So you think a lot of the ways that you really stayed into focus, depending on where you were at in your day, was just based off of your environment. Kind of, I'm putting on my fighter hat now. Right. I'm putting on my teacher hat now. My husband hat, my father hat. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So my the hat that I love to wear is the dad.
Oh, I was gonna guess that.
And husband.
Yeah.
That's what I love. My wife Leslie. I wouldn't be sitting here if it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for her.
It sounds like
and
from
my kids.
Yeah, she's your number one supporter, fan.
Oh yeah, she was.
Everything.
And is still, yes. So, it's a lot to become a fighter. Just like it's a lot to be a teacher. Just like it's a lot to be a janitor. Just like it's a lot to be the president of a company. Just like it's a lot to be the head cook.
Yeah.
Or being a waitress or a waiter. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what you do. You got to do it with all you got.
I believe that.
Because if you don't do what you want, or you don't, if you do what you want, if I did what I want, I wouldn't have made it where I am.
Yeah.
So I did what I had to do, and I want to encourage people to do what you have to do what you want to do.
Make those sacrifices for the greater reward, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. If you just, there are times I'm sure that I goofed off, but most of the time it was serious.
Yeah.
It was serious, and it was strict, and it was hard, but it was all worth it. I'm so happy that it turned out the way that it did. There's many times I got cut, I got busted up, I got beat, and I just kept on going and kept on going. And the beating didn't keep going, and someone it did.
Yeah.
But no matter what it is that you do, that you want to do, you set your goal, and you do it.
Yeah.
And there are things going to get in the way. And
you're getting ahead. And you must know what my next question is, going to be asking about is, so you've been doing this for a long time. As with anything, you encounter setbacks, right? You encounter those hurdles, those roadblocks. So tell me how you kind of combated those setbacks, or give me an example of maybe a really big setback you had, maybe in the beginning of everything. And how did you overcome that?
Well, I had an injury. I kept hurting my hand. For some people, for some reason, when you have an 8-ounce glove on, you can feel the bones in their head when you punch them. Ooh. So my hands several times were swollen, and had to take several months off where I couldn't train, I couldn't fight, So yeah, it was tough having those hands like that. I busted my knuckle. I didn't bust my knuckle. I broke my hand when I fought in the Jorge Paz fight.
Yes.
I think it was the second time that I fought him in the rematch. And so I had to watch my hands, and I cracked my sternum in training one time.
Right.
And broke my ribs. I never broke anything when I was fighting except my big toe.
What a strange thing to break in a fight.
So I broke my big toe doing a front kick where you kick your foot like this. The toes kind of come back, you kick the bottom of your foot, and I kicked the guy in the elbow, and guess what round it was? The first round.
Oh, no.
And guess how many rounds that the fight went? 12 rounds.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So that wasn't my excuse for losing the fight. I just kept on going and kept on doing what I was supposed to do. The reason I lost the fight is because I didn't train properly. I didn't throw enough kicks because I had just fought August 8th. I fought Felipe Garcia in 1986, and I had just trained with the person who won the world title in boxing. I was his sparring partner, and I felt like, wow, no way this guy can beat me. So, but I was boxing him. So, and it was minimum kicks. You have to kick at least 8 times. If you kick 7 times, they take a point away. That's like that can make you for sure lose the fight.
Oh, wow.
So after that, I started doing 1,000 kicks a day after that fight. So that when I would do a kickboxing match, and I would be able to kick,
Yeah.
do the kick that I needed to do, and so then I started kicking like 20 times
So
per round instead of 8.
a lot of physical setbacks with your fighting hat on, right? With the Destroyer, a lot of physical setbacks. So are you just very pain tolerant or stubborn or maybe a combination of everything? How did you fight through that physical adversity?
Well, you talk to my wife, the stubborn part probably would go through. But yeah, you just, things are gonna get in your way.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're going to work, you're not going to work.
Or you're going down.
You're going down. This seat keeps, I guess I'm so heavy now that just can't bear my weight. So, yeah, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to go through you get injured. Several times I got cut in fights. And you can it's just tough.
Yeah.
But, really, boxing is a tough sport, but so is being a stay-at-home mom. Wow, that's tough.
Yeah.
All day long, and right about when you feel like you get some sleep, then you hear that baby crying.
Yeah.
They need love and care, and it's tough. Fighting.
It's easy for you.
It was tough. It was tough, but stay-at-home mom, I think that's a tougher job.
Yeah.
And then just being a faithful wife, being a faithful husband. I don't know how to be a faithful wife, but I have a faithful wife. I'm just saying that it's really is tough to be a faithful wife, to be a faithful husband. And when I say faithful, I'm not saying I am talking about cheating on your spouse, but I'm saying just
showing up or being loyal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, okay, so now we're going to switch hats here. Businessman, Troy Dorsey. So when you first opened that first studio in Dallas, or even, fast forwarding to opening up your first studio here in Mansfield, were there any really big setbacks that you encountered with your school or anything that you had to overcome?
Well, I ran the school from 1981 to 1999 in Dallas, and it was constant battles. How do you get new students in? Oh. And how do you keep them? It's one thing to get a student, but it's another thing to keep a student.
Right.
So you gotta spend time with that person. You gotta show them that you care. What do they say? You don't know how much you care until I can't remember the saying. They don't know how much you care until.
Or you don't know what you got till it's gone. That's what's coming to my mind.
Okay, that's a similar saying.
Yeah, kind of like
but
that.
But yeah, you have to make sure that you show your. Like if you're in my class, I never mentioned your name. I never corrected you. It would be kind of hard for you to get through or to train.
Right.
So
you have to make that connection.
Yeah, you have to make a connection. You have to truly help every student that's on the mat.
So it sounds to me like in order to be as successful as Troy the Destroyer Dorsey, you have to have a really big heart. Right.
Yeah, and you have to be talked about being in shape. You have to be in shape for life.
Ooh.
You have to be in shape for life.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about alcohol. Matter of fact, it ruins so many marriages.
Yes.
And so many lives. One of my good friends, Brad Patton. The last time I saw him, he was in the hospital and he was yellow and his
with the liver failure.
Right.
Maybe? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So sad. But yeah, it's it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're doing drugs or you're drinking, I just can't see how you're gonna make anything of your life, or of your marriage, or of the sport you're doing, or we're all kind of like in a game. Do you like today? You want today to be a winning game or a winning day or a losing day?
Right.
So we have to do certain things to win.
Yeah.
And do we always win? No. We get knocked down, we get back up. We get knocked down,
That's right.
You dust yourself off and you walk back, and you get up and you just go.
Yeah.
And you talked about something earlier. You called it something. You gotta go around. So you talked about a wall. Like, has anyone ever had a wall in front of you?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do with this marriage?
Yeah. How do you get around?
What am I gonna do with my brother? What am I gonna do with my parents? What am I gonna do? There's a wall, I like to say there's a wall. You can go around the wall, you can go underneath it, you can go on the other side, or you can go over. You gotta keep going. You can't give up.
You have to try.
But never give up.
Yeah.
I've seen it said never 6 times, I think. Maybe it's only 5. But that's saying never give up. So I want to encourage you, if you're going through something in your marriage or just spiritual warfare. It's just crazy how the enemy, yes, the devil, he wants all of us to give up and throw the towel in, like they do in the boxing. Or he wants to choke us all out, like they do in the UFC or in jiu-jitsu. He wants to do all these things to us. I'm going to repeat this. I've said it one other time in this podcast, but John 10:10, Jesus said, the enemy cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy. But he said, I have come that you may have life and live it more abundantly. Yeah. So that's a guarantee. That's what God said. That's what God says. So I've lied before. Did Jesus lie? No, he didn't lie, and his word doesn't return void. So you keep your eyes on him. Is it going to be hard? Yes. Yeah. Reading the Bible every day, for me, it's hard because I don't do it every day. I go on, and then I get to the bed where I like to do it at the end of the night. Some people do it in the morning, like I have a friend in Dickinson. His name is Al Garza. I believe he gets up at like 4:30 in the morning, 5:30. I can't remember. Anyway, that's really early. And reads the Bible for an hour.
Oh, wow.
The Bible for an hour. That's commitment.
Yes.
So my excuse is it's too early, so I stay up and I do it at night. And I'm on my 1.5 time through the Bible, but I'm still learning, of course. You can't remember all those things. It's just that's just something I think that we should do is stay in the Word. So start in Genesis and go all the way through Revelation. And then I did it the first time. I did it from the beginning to the end, and then I did the New Testament. The second time I did it, I'm trying to do it. I did the Old Testament first.
Gotcha.
And then now I'm back on the New Testament, and I'm in Chronicles. So I got to get through it though.
Yeah.
And me saying this will kind of help me
keep yourself accountable.
Keep myself accountable.
Yeah.
I don't like to be accountable, but that's what it is.
That's what it takes.
Yes. So we have to be, and we're accountable for what? Everything we do. And God holds us accountable for all what we think. And when the Bible says, if you look on a woman with lust, you commit adultery. And if you hate somebody, you have hate in your heart towards somebody, that's like murder. So we shouldn't have those things going on. Do we have them going on? Oh, it goes on. Yeah. It goes on, but what are you going to do with it? Ask for his forgiveness and move on.
Pick yourself up.
Try
again.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, I have just a couple more questions for you for what it takes behind the scenes to be Troy Dorsey, the Destroyer. So work-life balance. This is something that I feel like in society is really starting to focus on, as we progress.
Focus on what?
Work-life balance. So balancing, how much time you're putting into work, right? Yeah. And then how much you're living life, spending time with your family, your grandkids, your husband, your wife. What was it like for you, being a competitive fighter as well as owning a studio? How did you balance that? How did you make time for Miss Leslie? How did you make time for your kids and also make that time for the ring?
Many times, I'm embarrassed to say that I didn't, but there was many times that I did also. So it just really is a hard time. You have to kind of put your foot down and say, okay, I'm going to spend some time. Yeah. Even if it's 10, 15 minutes, staying up late or getting up early or whatever you got to do to.
Sacrificing sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, and then when you're training, you got to have rest.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I think it's maybe even more important than the diet, than your nutrition. So you
rest.
Gotta have good rest, good food, and good training. And you got to think positive. And like as I said earlier, we're constantly getting put down by the enemy himself. Yeah, the devil. The devil didn't make anybody do anything though. The devil told you to do it. like you told me, and I've done it before. So we shouldn't. We got to steer away from that. We got to steer away from that. But yeah, it's difficult. Life is difficult. Training was difficult, and pretty much anything that you do is going to be difficult.
You just have to make the choice, right?
Right. So if I didn't do what I'm supposed to be doing, if I didn't work hard, I wouldn't be married. If I didn't work hard, I wouldn't have my school. If I didn't work out hard, I wouldn't have a world title.
That's right.
I wouldn't have any title if I wouldn't work hard. So we're all in a champion. We all can be champions in life, but we're all going to mess up, and we're all going to get hurt, and we're all going to do what do you have to do? We just have to do our best.
Right. Learn from our mistakes.
Right.
You know, I mean, I feel like I make mistakes every day, but I am also proud at the end of the day because I tried to find, an action item to keep myself from making that same mistake, or how do I avoid doing that again? You know.
Right. It's like you reach out to get something and your hand gets slapped. Right?
Yeah. Reached your hand into the cookie jar when you shouldn't have, right? Get a little pop.
Yeah, that's it right there. That's a good way to explain it. So yeah, when we were little kids, we all like to steal a cookie out the cookie box. What do you call it?
Spoil the dinner, the cookie jar.
Oh, yeah, the cookie jar. That's it. But yeah, we all have that opportunity. I can get up and I can make my day terrible because I just have this terrible attitude.
Yeah, you can stay in that mindset.
Exactly. So when you get up, you gotta think, and you gotta think positive. There's a book called The Power of Positive Thinking by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. That book is amazing.
It's good.
Have you read it?
I read it many years ago, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a good book. I think it's still sitting on my shelf.
Yeah.
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 Well, I think Troy must be a little bit psychic today because you keep kind of alluding to my next questions, you know? So that kind of brings me to motivation. So I know you're a man of great faith. And I know in my heart that that's one of the things that motivates you, but can you tell me a little bit more about how you stay motivated to wake up and, make those decisions to stay mentally positive, fight through the pain, work through the fatigue, stay on that schedule. How do you stay motivated?
You just said it all.
I did?
Yeah, you have to just be in. Who's in control of my mind and who controls in your mind? We're all control of our own mind, and we just have to set those goals. They say you'll reach your goal if you write it down.
Ooh.
And you see it every day.
Yeah.
You have more of a chance of reaching your goal than if you don't. So I recommend write them down, and some goals even like to write them on the mirror in your bathroom. So
that's a good idea.
Every time you go there, you see it. So you in the morning you go, okay, there it is. In the evening,
there it is.
There it is. Right there. Good
I'm
reminder.
a list maker. I love making lists.
Oh yeah.
And my favorite thing, I get a lot of satisfaction from it, is crossing that task
done
off my list.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it feels so good.
Yeah.
And it's even better when I can do like 3 in a row.
Oh yeah.
If I just bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
So
yeah, knock them out.
But I never thought about maybe like getting a dry erase marker and writing something on my mirror. So that's something I see in the morning when I wake up, or even like a Bible verse or a quote, a positive quote to kind of stay in that, because sometimes we do wake up in really bad moods and we don't know why.
Right.
Maybe we had a bad dream and we don't remember it, or maybe we slept funny or something and we're just kind of cranky. But that's a great idea. I'm going to take that from you, Troy.
Yeah, something on the mirror, something positive. Think about a Bible verse. They're always positive. So, because it's always pointing towards Jesus, of course, and pointing towards Jesus, go to heaven. Yeah. The most famous verse in the Bible, do you know it? John 3:16.
Oh yeah. For God so loved the world
that he gave his only Son, that whoever believeth in him shall have eternal life, and not perish, not go to hell. Ooh. Now, some people that are watching this, that may be make you mad, or it may not touch you, or it's no big deal. but all time is marked by God. This is July 12th.
June. Don't get us too far ahead into the. I'm not ready for July heat in Texas yet.
I was just making sure she's paying attention. Okay, so it's June 12th, 2024 AD. What does that stand for? After death.
I think.
People have changed that
Yeah.
to something else. I can't remember what it is.
It's a Latin, something Latin.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know much about Latin, so.
And then everything before 2023, 24, in June, not July, is before Christ, BC. So it's BC and AD. So that's how all time is marked by who? By Jesus Christ. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That he died on the cross for us, and he's waiting on you to call on him. Sometimes when you pray, sometimes he says yes, sometimes he says no, and sometimes he says wait. Wow.
Yeah.
It's like, I heard that.
Oh, and the waiting is the hardest
I thought it was just
part,
yes and no.
right?
I thought it was just yes and no. But yeah, I know there are prayers that I have prayed that took years and years and years and years.
You know, that reminds me. I think it's a Garth Brooks song. It is a country song, but it's basically about. Oh, I thank God for unanswered prayers.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes the things that we think we want, we may not really want. You
Right.
know, we just think we want it at the time.
I'm
So.
glad I didn't get that one. Right? I'm glad I didn't get that prayer answered, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes I'm thankful that what I want didn't happen, because then you wouldn't have, you know, the blessing that you have in the moment, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He knows what's good for us.
Right.
And he knows what we need. He knows when we need it. We just have to wait on him.
Mm-hmm.
Wait on the Lord. Isaiah 40:31. Wait upon the Lord. He shall renew your strength, and you will not grow weary. Like eagles, you will not grow weary. I think it says, like eagles, you will not grow weary.
You got a great memory.
I wish I could remember that whole verse.
I would have messed that up.
It's
at least 3
Isaiah
words in.
40:31. You remember? Have you heard it
Yes.
before? Yeah. Yeah. One of my friends, Kevin James, artist. He used to be an artist down here on the end of downtown, and that's how we became friends. He wrote that verse. He put an eagle in the neck. Oh my gosh, it's
It was beautiful. Yeah.
Pencil. He drew it with a pencil. It is beautiful.
Man.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, Destroyers, we have had, I think, a really awesome episode. You know, really taking a look at what it takes to become great, to reach your goals. I feel like in this day and age, especially with social media, right, we see a lot of the finished product. We see a lot of things that are pretty and perfect and finished, but we don't always get to see what it took for that finished product, right? And
behind the
so,
scenes,
yeah, there's
so
so much that
much.
goes on.
So much.
You know, if you're struggling, like you said, keep at it. Like, don't give up. There's so much work to be done to be great, and I think that us being flooded with perfection and finished products kind of dampens that, you know, that drive. So we just got to fight that and push through.
Yeah, we live in the microwave age.
The microwave age, yes.
Bing, I got
Everything's
it.
easy.
Bing, I got it.
Yeah.
It's easy. So we can't rely on the microwave.
Yeah. Sometimes we got to kick
The
it old
microwave
school.
Thinking.
Yeah.
Right.
We got to kick it old school. Get up, go run those miles, and
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
do the work. Do the
Exactly.
push-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over and over. So no matter what you're going through, I do recommend that you do some type of exercise. Exercise is proven fact that it's going to make you feel happier. It's going to increase your mood to feel better, and it's also going to make you stronger, both mentally and physically.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So whether it's running is tough on people's knees, and I know some people that have had knee surgery and they run again, but it's okay. Whatever it is. Swimming is really good. My friend
Ooh, yeah.
Steve Goin, he has a
He's
swimming
tough.
pool in his backyard. It's like 6 foot across and 30 foot long.
Oh, so he does laps.
And he laps.
Oh, wow.
Laps,
That's
laps.
great for you.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, so I've been doing rowing machine.
Ooh, that's tough.
And the bicycle
Mm-hmm.
and the elliptical.
Ooh, the elliptical.
Yeah, in the sauna, it's called. I'm gonna get these people a little plug. It's called Hot Works.
There's
WORX.
a Hot Works in Mansfield.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, so I'll need to get a little sponsorship from those guys.
Ah.
But I joined them several months ago, and it's in a sauna, 126 degrees usually, and it's got a coach in there, just like on the video here. You're watching,
yeah.
and then just coach you right through it and help you through your training. It really is good.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Well, Destroyers, we've enjoyed teaching you how to be great, how to become a destroyer yourself, right?
I think so. I hope so.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We can't wait to join you again next week. And you never know who will be behind the mic, right?
Right.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Look forward to seeing you soon. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it. Let's do this first. Like it and then share it.
There you go.
I'm not very good on social media, not really good at talking about social media, but if you could like it and share it, I'd appreciate that very much.
That's right.
Okay?
Thank you, Troy. Always a pleasure.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.